colleague just took credit for your work in front of your boss. You felt the words rising in your throat. Actually, I did that. But you stayed silent, and 6 months later, they got your promotion.
This is what we're talking about today. Not theory, not abstract psychology. That exact moment, that specific silence, where your brain's autopilot convinced you that staying quiet was safe.
And it's not just office politics. It's every time you don't negotiate. Every time you accept a lowball offer. Every time you swallow feedback instead of pushing back. Your autopilot is running these calls, and it's costing you your career.
Last episode, we learned about System 1 and System 2. Today, we're hunting down the biggest way System 1 sabotages you, making you avoid the very conversations that would move you forward. Let's go.
Quick reminder, your brain has two systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, effortless. It's your autopilot. It runs constantly. System 2 is slow, deliberate, effortful. It's your conscious mind. And it's lazy. It only shows up when absolutely forced to. Most of the time, you think you're using System 2. You think you're being thoughtful and analytical. But the reality? System 1 is making the call, and System 2 is just nodding along.
And that's the problem, because System 1 evolved for survival in small tribes where getting kicked out meant death. It wasn't built for modern workplaces where speaking up is actually how you survive. So let's look at where this becomes expensive.
Conflict avoidance. Deep dive. Let's talk about the most expensive silence of your career. Your colleague takes credit for your work in a meeting. System 1 instantly screams, "Danger, social threat, don't make waves." And before System 2 can even wake up, you've already decided. It's not worth it. Let it go. So you do. You stay quiet.
Here's what just happened in your brain. System 1 detected a potential conflict and immediately categorized it as a survival threat. In a small tribe 10,000 years ago, confrontation could get you ostracized, and ostracism meant death. So System 1 evolved one very simple rule: avoid conflict. Always. It doesn't matter that you're not in a tribe. It doesn't matter that speaking up won't kill you. System 1 doesn't know that. It just knows conflict equals danger.
And here's the really insidious part. System 1 doesn't just make you stay quiet. It gives you rational-sounding reasons for staying quiet. It's not worth the drama. They probably didn't mean it that way. I'll just work harder and prove myself. My boss probably knows it was really me. Those aren't rational thoughts. Those are System 1's post hoc justifications for the decision it already made in 0.3 seconds.
Now fast forward 6 months. Your colleague gets promoted because as far as leadership knows, they delivered that project. And you're still waiting for your hard work to speak for itself. But here's the truth. Your hard work doesn't speak. You have to speak for your hard work.
Let me give you a real example. Sarah was a product manager at a tech company. Brilliant strategist. Did amazing work. In a quarterly review meeting, her peer Tony presented his roadmap for the next release. Every slide was from Sarah's work. Every insight came from her research. Sarah felt her stomach drop. She knew she should say something. System 1 said, "Don't embarrass him in front of everyone. You'll look petty. Just talk to him after." So she stayed quiet. After the meeting, she mentioned it to Tony privately. He apologized, said it was a misunderstanding.
3 months later, Tony was promoted to Senior PM. The CEO specifically cited his excellent strategic thinking on the Q3 roadmap. Sarah came to me furious. Why does this keep happening to me? I asked her, in that moment, in that meeting, what stopped you from speaking up? She said, I didn't want to create conflict. That's System 1. And it cost her a promotion, a $25,000 salary bump, and 18 months of career momentum.
Here's what System 2 would have done. Paused and asked, what's the actual worst-case scenario if I speak up? Best case, you get credit. Likely case, brief awkwardness, but the record is corrected. Worst case? Someone thinks you're being territorial.
Now compare that to the cost of staying silent. Someone else gets credit for months of your work. Leadership forms an inaccurate picture of who contributes what. Your colleague learns they can do this again. You build a pattern of being invisible.
When you actually run the numbers, speaking up is almost always less risky than staying silent. But System 1 doesn't run numbers. It just screams danger and shuts you down.
The System 2 move. So here's the System 2 framework for handling this. Step 1, recognize the feeling. When you feel that instinct to stay quiet, that voice saying, "Don't make waves," that's your signal. That's System 1 talking. Just notice it. Name it. Oh, this is conflict avoidance.
Step 2, pause and run the actual analysis. Ask yourself, what's the real worst-case scenario if I speak up? What's the cost of staying silent? If I were advising a friend in this exact situation, what would I tell them to do? That third question is powerful. We're often clearer about other people's situations than our own.
Step 3, script it in advance. You can't negotiate with System 1 in the moment. It's too fast, but you can prepare a script ahead of time. For the colleague takes credit scenario, I want to add some context here. I actually led the research and strategy on this. Tony, you and I should sync after this meeting to make sure we're aligned on who's owning what going forward. Calm, professional, clear. You're not attacking. You're correcting the record.
Step 4, practice the 10-second rule. Here's a practical tip. When you feel the urge to stay quiet, count to 10 before making the decision. Those 10 seconds give System 2 time to wake up. System 1 makes decisions in milliseconds. If you can insert even a small delay, you create space for actual thinking.
This isn't just about office politics. Conflict avoidance shows up everywhere. In salary negotiations, project scope creep, and feedback conversations.
Every single one of these is System 1 protecting you from short-term discomfort while creating long-term disaster.
Why this keeps happening? Now, I'm not saying System 1 is the enemy. It's not. System 1 is why you can walk and talk simultaneously. It's why you can drive home on autopilot while thinking about what you need to do tomorrow. System 1 is a superpower. But here's the issue. System 1 was designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore. It evolved to help you recognize threats in the savannah, find food, navigate social hierarchies in small tribes. It wasn't designed to evaluate job offers, assess financial risk, or decide whether to invest in a tech startup. And because System 2 is lazy, because it only shows up when absolutely necessary, you're letting a system designed for survival make decisions about your career.
That's the problem. That's why smart people stay quiet when they should speak up. Why talented people stay invisible. Not because you're broken, because your brain is operating exactly as designed, just in the wrong environment.
The practice. So here's what you do. Here's your one thing you can use immediately. The next time you feel that instinct to avoid conflict, to stay quiet, to not push back, to just let it go, pause and ask yourself one question. Am I avoiding conflict, or am I avoiding my own career growth?
Because System 1 will always tell you that staying quiet is safer. But ask yourself, what information am I actually basing this on? Or am I just feeling uncomfortable? What's the real worst-case scenario if I speak up? What's the cost if I stay silent? If I were advising a friend in this exact situation, what would I tell them? Those questions activate System 2. They force you to step outside the automatic fear response and actually think.
And here's the practice. For the next 30 days, catch yourself 3 times. 3 times when System 1 tells you to avoid conflict. Pause, ask the question, and choose differently. You don't have to be perfect. Just catch it 3 times. Those 3 moments, they'll change your entire relationship with conflict. Because here's the truth. Knowing about these biases doesn't automatically fix them. System 1 is still going to operate the same way. But awareness is the first step. And the more you practice recognizing when System 1 is running the show, the better you get at knowing when to slow down. That's the skill we're building here. That's what separates people who keep making the same mistakes from people who actually grow.
So if this was valuable, subscribe. Because over the next few weeks, we're going to completely rewire how you think about thinking. This is Book Takeaways for Professional Growth, where we break down the books that matter so you can apply what actually works.
Your brain has 2 systems. Now you know which one's been keeping you silent. Next time, we're teaching you how to negotiate without getting anchored. These are your hosts, Sophia
And Marcus. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.
Thanks for being here. Keep growing.